Hello, this is Alex from BSC Designer. In this tutorial, we'll discuss how to automate evaluations or assessments, keeping in mind the challenges of strategic planning. The primary goal of any assessment is to quantify various entities based on a set of criteria. Here's a roadmap for a comprehensive assessment. Calculate a score for each option, compare each option to alternatives, map improvement ideas, track changes over time, and cascade the results to other strategy or functional scorecards. This method is applicable to various scenarios from team performance evaluations to quantitative analysis of alternative strategies. Now, let's create an assessment scorecard from scratch. I created an empty scorecard and gave it the meaningful name, Team Performance Assessment. The next step is to establish the first group with evaluation criteria. I create a group called Team 1 and add evaluation criteria like Factor 1, Factor 2, and Factor 3. For each factor, I can customize settings such as name, description, measurement units, and more advanced settings like measurement scale and performance function. There is no limit to the number of evaluation criteria or sublevels. For instance, I can add additional factors like factor 2.1 and factor 2.2. To reflect the relevant importance of the factors, I can use weight property. There are additional settings for each factor which can be configured via the values editor, such as update interval, grouping, and inheritance settings. Once I've created a template with evaluation criteria, I propagate it to other groups by copying and pasting and adjusting names accordingly. With the assessment scorecard ready, I can start inputting data. I can do this either by selecting a date in internal calendar and entering the current score in the value field. Or I can double click on the indicator and enter scores directly into the data table. If your data is in Excel, you can import it using the import data function in the tools menu. Assessment isn't just about scores. Imagine a scenario when you want to add comment to the score. This can be done using a comment button in the values editor or using the comment button next to the score field. Another scenario involves adding more detailed improvement plans. I can do it via the initiatives function. I can further develop this initiative by defining a budget, timeline, assign owner, and add progress indicator, and finally upload relevant documents. The software uses entry scores to calculate performance for the group, as well as overall performance for each reporting period. I have filled in random data for all factors. Let's visualize the assessment details on the dashboard. For instance, to illustrate how the average performance of all teams changes over time, I can create a bar diagram for the root item of the scorecard with disabled sub-items and enabled trend line. To visualize how team performance changes over time, I can create a bar diagram with sub-items. Using the series diagram, I can visualize all factors for all teams on the same diagram and switch between dates to observe changes over time. To have a summary for all suggested improvement ideas, I can add an initiative diagram to list all action plans and their statuses. A final touch. We can use the output of this assessment scorecard as an input for another scorecard. I can select and copy the item of interest and then paste it into another strategy scorecard to establish a data or contextual connection. That's how you can build an assessment scorecard in BC Designer. As always, our team is ready to assist you with your strategic planning challenges. Thank you for joining us today.